What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So not too long ago, I came back home from YCS Hartford in Connecticut. It's like a 5.5-hour drive from where I live in Montreal, so definitely not that far away, and I can tell you guys, this was probably the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience of my entire life. Outside of the fact that I scrubbed out the main event with Despia, which was kind of a misplay, I can't really say that eating D-barriers all day really made me super happy. But it's fine, bro. It's still having so much fun even when you're losing, because meeting all of the freaking pro players and YouTubers and people who support you, it was like such a wholesome event. It's like there are literally no words to describe how happy I was every single time someone was, approaching me and asking me to like take a picture or like sign cards or just telling me, I appreciate what you're doing, keep it up, etc. I really can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support I've been getting throughout the years. I don't really make videos like that very often, so you really know it is coming from the heart, because I'm not even like reading a script or something. I'm probably gonna have to retake this video 20 billion times because I just have no idea what I'm saying. Again, thank you guys so much for everything. And huge, massive shoutouts to all my opponents as well. Every single one of them were like fantastic human beings. My only regret was like not making, a list of all of their names so I could shout them out individually. But if you recognize yourself and you're watching this video right now, big shoutouts to you. And also shoutouts to my old friends and all the YouTubers. So Jojo SMR, that I actually had no idea watched my videos, but you're actually such a beast, man. Keep it up, man. Your YouTube channel has like over 2 million subscribers. It's crazy. And MBT, Nim, Kevin Rodriguez, but I knew him anyways. Team Sam, Shrift Gaming, again, guys that I already knew. But some other pro players as well, and people that I always freaking loved and admired. So Blair Hunter, Michael State, Joe Bogley, Base Lolly. It's actually crazy, man. Just being able to have like a conversation with those guys is just something that I really never expected a few years back when I was like a nobody. I didn't even have success. I didn't even have any tops. And here I am right now, being able to honestly accomplish a lot of my goals and I want to say potentially dreams in the future. But yeah, this is the reason why I really recommend people to go to YCSs. It's just so fun. Even if you scrub out, it doesn't matter, because the social aspect of the game is really what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Just a game that you can't really quit. It's such an addictive game because every single time you're playing, there's always something else that you can do. You scrub the main event, it's all good. You're still chilling with your friends. You can go back to the hotel. You can explore the city around, even though Hartford was kind of not the best, but whatever it is, what it is. If you're going to like Pasadena or Las Vegas, then it's a different story. Side events are also pretty interesting. I know the side events for this event were like even better than the prizes for like topping the YCS. So it's actually crazy how scrubbing can benefit you in the long run if you're just playing every single side event, winning, prize cards left and right. So yeah, definitely ridiculous experience. But yeah, as for the deck that I played, like I said, I played Despia, not really the deck that I really think I should have played at the event. Doesn't really make too much sense when people are respecting it so much. It's like the kind of situation where the deck is so good that it becomes bad, because people are almost preparing themselves mostly for that deck, and then it becomes like way too easy to counter. So like it's just no longer the best deck. That's the reason why people were trying to play Predaplant Despia, so that the end board was so massive that people weren't even able to break the board even when they were going second, because they thought that a single DD Crow could stop Despia and therefore also the other builds of Despia. But Predaplant Despia wasn't really like that, because it would end on multiple Dragosta Pelias turn 1 and even El Shaddai Winda turn 1. Either way, I will be showing you guys my deck profile right now. So here it is. This is the deck profile. I technically have the cards in real life, so I could have made like a real deck profile. So here it is, in case you don't believe it. I don't own any of those cards, by the way. I'm broke. But yeah, Despia. Was it like the correct deck to play for the event? Not really. Like people usually say like, oh, you just have to go with consistency, what works the best and what you're comfortable with. It's easy to say that, but at the same time, if your deck is like heavily targeted by like everyone's side deck and everything, I just don't know if that's like the right call anymore, because yeah, I was, like I said, eating D barriers and everything way too often. But anyways, let's get into the explanation. So I'm playing one Albion. Overall pretty good card. It's like an upstart goblin, and it foolishes for a card that allows you to recycle back branded spells or traps from your graveyard to your hand. But you can actually argue that this card right there, which is the main card that Albion is sending, can actually be removed from the deck completely, and you can just afford to always send branded opening, and that works fine as well because this also has irrelevant graveyard effect. So yeah, Albion overall, definitely have to play it at 1, but 0 also works fine. And then 1 ad libitum, some people play 2, but 3 is like way too much. But yeah, this card is obviously broken. It recycles back the Mirror Jade, so you can banish cards again on your opponent's turn. Fairy Tale Snow, pretty nice, but it actually does nothing in the Despia Mirror match. So this was a card that I was citing out a lot going second, because it doesn't really break boards. It's not really like a card that you're trying to draw as well with a Luber. Like, obviously, it's a great discard with Lubellion, but sometimes you have, like, 6 cards in the grave, and you have to start banishing cards from your hand and field. That's something that I had to do, like, very often. Or sometimes there are, like, actual 7 cards in the grave, like, outside of Snow. But then if you banish the other cards, then you're gonna have, like, no, like, real target. It was awkward sometimes, but it's still, like, a decent card. It's just that I can live without it. Triple Allure, of course, triple Fallen of Albaz, because hard drawing it means that you can poly into Lubellion in case your Branded Fusion gets ashed, and you can still make Mirror Jade that way. Triple Edgem Chain, relatively easy to discard because you have Branded Opening with Fallen of Albaz's discard and Lubellion discard, so always gets you that patchwork so you can search 2 cards, basically a semi-pot of greed. And 1 Charbonnier Mercurier. The popular ratio for this used to be 3 because people are playing Allure of Darkness, but it opens yourself up to more bricks, so I think just playing 1 is way more than enough. And triple Ash, so I don't scoop in the Mirror Match going second. I wanted to have like an answer to Branded Fusion, otherwise you're just screwed. And not playing hand traps in this format would have been a little suicidal. And finally, triple Despian Tragedy, because it is relatively good to draw with like Poly or Theater or Allure of Darkness. So yeah, that's it for the main monsters in the main deck. And now triple Allure, obviously it's pretty good, but you can actually live without it. I was also side decking this card out a lot games 2 and 3 because people were siding in Joel and Logbird against me. So if I don't have that, people are gonna drill me maybe a little too late sometimes, at least to like a point where at least I was able to search with Tragedy and achieve a few plays. And you can always keep like your Edgem Chain search with or Fright for Patchwork searches at the very end because they don't necessarily get yourself started, but they are extenders. Anyways, double poly and triple patchwork, these ratios are very standard, so nothing massive to explain here. Triple Branded Fusion, 1 Foolish, 1 Cob at the Grave. Triple Droplet, I think not playing this card is suicidal because it makes you lose the main deck Artifact Scythe, which is very important, very, very dangerous. So if you lose the Scythe, then you cannot grind at all. It's basically a D-Berry in the main deck, but you also can't like Link Summon and all those things that obviously don't matter because we're playing purple cards turbo. But yeah, no, there's also Super Poly that you can play. The issue is that I was a little too scared of playing against Flunderies, but ironically I didn't play a single Flundery, so maybe the correct move was to main deck Super Poly. But in hindsight, I don't think my mentality was like that flawed. But at the same time, Super Poly is pretty broken against the Predaplant Despia version because it ends on a lot of purple monsters on the field. Fusion monsters. So yeah, Super Poly main deck could have made a lot of sense. But yeah, anyways, triple branded opening, obviously double branded in red. 3 used to be like a pretty good ratio, but I don't know, man. It's just, this card kind of breaks sometimes, and it doesn't get you anything started. And 1 branded lost, 1 theater. I really thought I was gonna use this card's effect a lot, but it never really came up. So for me, the theater just wasn't great. Like, it's a really good card in the Gren game when your opponent starts like attacking over your monsters, and then you, well, your Despia monsters, and then you start reviving back your fusions, or you can even crash your monsters to revive back your Mirror Jade. So in simplified game state, this field spell is broken, but I was never getting into any simplified game states because games were always decided at like the speed of light. But yeah, finally I'm playing 1 Banishment and 1 Retribution. So Banishment was overpowered like all weekend. Just this card is insane. It's probably like better than Branded in red in the mirror match, for example, because you revive back your own Mirror Jade after you get super polyed, and then you fuse away every single monster your opponent controls for like a Dragos Tapelia. So you make your opponent lose a lot of monsters, and then you end on a negate so you can clear another monster right after. Yeah, very, very good card, and you can recycle it back either with Retribution or Despian Strategy's Graveyard Effect. So yeah, 44 cards in the main deck. I think for the most part, my main deck was pretty good, but main decking Super Poly could have made sense, and not playing the Theater also could have been relatively decent. Even cutting the Fairy Tale Snow could have been pretty good because it also does nothing against Flunderies, so it's only good against Sword Soul, and that's just not enough for me. Yeah, that's it for the main deck, and for the extra deck, 1 Proscenion, which I never even considered. Like, the summoning this card is already difficult because you need 3 monsters, unlike Masquerade and the other whatever. This card's good if you get to summon it. Guardian Chimera is broken, Mirror Jade is broken, Dragostapelia is incredibly good, Double Lubellion. Alba Lanatis never came up because I never played against decks that were ending on Borload Savage or Hot Red or even Dragon Link. Yeah, no, never. So I really thought I would be going into this card often, but never came up. One Quartus, which also never came up. Double Masquerade, I summoned Double Masquerade turn 1 pretty often. Not really, like maybe 2 or 3 times, but still. Titanic Clad never came up. It only comes up against Adagonister, and I played 0 of them. So yeah, it's a good thing for me, I guess, because if they summon the Link 6 with 6 different monsters, I deck out. I can't play against there's literally 0 outs either in the main deck or the extra deck. Sorry, side deck, I'm stupid, but even extra deck. Anyways, double Albion, and that's it, that's all. For the side deck, I'm playing 1 Banshee with 1 Zombie World. Like I said, I didn't play against any Flunderies, so this didn't really matter. Triple Dark Ruler, very good because people are now especially trying to make Scythe on your main phase with the Needle Fiber and TG Wonder Magician combo. So they're destroying their own artifact Scythe, and then they are triggering the Scythe to, lock you out and then making Baroness. But if you can Dark Ruler, the Needle Fiber can't tag out into TG Wonder and can't pop the side that way. So Needle Fiber takes care of Griffin, Theron's King Regulus, so many annoying monsters, as well as indirectly protecting you from the Scythe lock. And then Twin Twister, which I basically always have to side going second against every freaking human on Earth because everybody's, siding in anti-spell and stuff like that. So yeah, Twin Twister was really, really good. And Crossout Designator, every single time I was siding in Crossout Designator, I was always siding in 1 D-Berry as well. So if I was drawing Crossout and I was getting D-Buried, I could go Crossout for D-Berry, and that was a very good move. So yeah, I really like this card, and obviously I can protect myself from Ash and protect myself from Branded in Red or Branded Banishment, which is massive in the mirror match. And finally, triple D-Barrier and 1 red reboot that I never drew because I only played this tournament for 7 rounds. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile and for this video overall. I really hope you guys were able to enjoy. And again, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It really means the world to me. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.